two, three, four. Hello and welcome to a new episode of ZomCast 24. Today we will be talking about Python's regular expressions. Regular expressions exist in almost every scripting language, and they are very useful feature of those languages. And in case of Python, it is very useful whether you are doing web programming or you are doing some other types of development for some embedded system or whatever, that you deal with some string processing and you need to extract some information from data, from your string data. Regular expressions are your friends. So today we will briefly talk about them, how regular expressions are created, and how you can use Python's utilities and Python's methods that are especially tailored for working with regular expressions. So first of all, let's go ahead and open Python's documentation page on python.org, and I will show you what kind of symbols we will be dealing with when working with regular expressions. So I go ahead and open my Firefox web browser, python.org, docs.python.org, and there you will find a couple of topics where you will find a link to standard library. Standard library is where you can find the RE library, the RE module that leads to regular expressions and all the utilities that Python has for working with regular expressions. Alright, now you will see that, and I'm gonna open library reference, and on this page we will find regular expressions under text processing services. As I said, regular expressions are one way of working with text and processing text. I open RE, and there's some preliminary things that you need to know about regular expressions in order to create regular expressions. Regular expressions, when we are working with regular expressions, we need to create some string, some pattern. So we create a pattern. For example, I want to write a string, for example, that I have a string, like for example, the amount of profit is $20, and here I have a number that can be different for every different case. For example, we have a lot of data that each one has a different number here. One is 20, one is 10, one is 30, one is 40, one is 50. And we know that this pattern is fixed. Every time we have software, we have a piece of software that always gives a pattern like this, and we know that always we have a number here. So what can we do to extract this number if we are using Python? Here, regular expressions come to the rescue, and in fact we can tell regular expressions, we can create a pattern using regular expressions that we say, when you see the amount of profit is, and then you see a digit, and after that you see box, you must understand that this digit is the part of the text that we are interested in, and you should extract it and cast it to an integer and save it in the database, or do whatever you want to do with it. So this is one example of how regular expressions can be useful for you. And you can find actually a lot of different patterns in daily data that you are dealing with. For example, if you are looking on a website, that gives you prices, that information about prices, or gives you information about temperature, you can say, for example, the temperature. You can find a sentence like, for example, humidity for tomorrow is 20%. I don't know how they show it actually how they display humidity, but what I'm trying to say is that you have a number here and it's always a digit. And again, you can use regular expressions to extract this number and do some processing or save it in some database or send it to a service or something like that. So first of all, in order to create these patterns that we will feed into regular expression methods, we need to understand how we create patterns. A regular expression pattern actually is created with something like that. It's a little bit weird first when you look at it. You can mark the beginning of the string, the beginning of your pattern, with this icon, with this symbol, and the end of it with the dollar symbol. And in the middle of that, there are digits. You can specify digits. For example, I want to say any number between 0 and 9, and I can display it. I can signify it inside my pattern with this. And what I'm showing here, these marks, these left bracket and right bracket, we call them curly brackets. No, actually it's not curly brackets, these are just brackets. When you use these brackets, we say that each one of the digits that I specify inside the bracket. So, and if you want to specify a digit, you can say 0 to 9. If you want to say I want a digit from 0 to 9, any digit from 0 to 9, you can say it this way, 0-9. If you want to say, for example, I want a number, I want a character here that is from A to Z, you can say that here like this, A-Z, which means from A to Z, each character, any character in this range, and it only selects one of them. You know what I'm saying? For example, if this pattern is used per se, just like this, it means that this will match any string that starts with a character, with a small character that is between A and Z, which is A or any character from A to Z, and then ends, which means only this string has a length of 1. It has only one character. So if I wanted to add big characters, capital characters, and capital letters to this pattern too, I can say AZ. And what if I want to have digits as well? I can say 0 to 9. And so this way, I'm telling this pattern, I'm telling Python, and I'm creating a pattern in which I'm allowing here one character that is from A to Z, small letter, or A to Z, capital letter, or from 0 to 9, which is a digit. But this has a limitation. This is only one character. If I want to have more than one character, and I can say and I want to say select any character that is acceptable here, but if its number was more than 1, which we can say at least 1 character and more. In that case, we can say plus after this selector. So this selector selects 1 character that is satisfied with this condition, and then we add a plus to it, which is kind of qualifier. We call it a repetition qualifier, which means from 1 and above. It is 1 character long and above. What if we wanted to say if any character in this range, 0 number of this character and above, which means we use the star symbol. The star symbol has a small difference with the plus symbol, and it means that you can have 0 number of that character and more, 0 and more, but the plus 1 meant actually 1 and more. You might find a little bit difficulty first understanding and getting familiar with these symbols, but once you get used to them, they make your life as a developer much easier. And there's also the question mark, which I honestly don't use that much, causes the resulting RE to match 0 or 1 repetitions of the preceding RE. So this means that any character that is followed by the question mark can be repeated 0 or 1 times that. You know what I'm saying? For example, here B is followed by the question mark, which means we can have 1B, we can have 0 repetitions of B, which is AB, or we can have 1 repetitions of B, which is ABB. Will match. 0 repetition actually means no B, so therefore we will have A, or we can have AB, which means 1 repetition. Okay, we have also other stuff here that you can study and learn for yourself deeply, but I'm gonna give you a practical example of how regular expressions can be used easily, and you don't have to be fully aware of every symbol that is out there in order to use regular expressions. Just if you know this, for example, the meaning of dot, which means only 1 character. The default, this matches any character except a new line. Dot means any character, and this symbol, caret, they call it caret, and it means the beginning of the string, and the dollar symbol is the end of the string, and the star symbol, as I said, means 0 or more of the previous RE, the previous regular expression or pattern, and the plus symbol means 1 or more of that. Okay, now let's go to a practical example. I'm gonna open Visual Studio Code, and I'm gonna show you how to extract some digits from a string. And in the process, I will show you some of the methods that are available in the RE module from the Python programming language's standard library. First of all, let's make visible the Visual Studio Code window. Here we go. Okay, I'm gonna create a new file, and I'm gonna name it regular expressions.py. And in this file we will have a sample of different strings. So I'm gonna create a list of strings like the cost is, the cost of fruits. Actually, let's make it more interesting. The price of rice is 20 bucks. The next one, the price of apples is 10 bucks per kilos, for example, per kilo. And the price of oranges is likewise 10 bucks per kilo. So we have 3 different strings, but they are a little bit similar in the pattern that they have. And what I want to do actually is to extract the numbers, the digits, and know how much I have spent this day, for example, for buying this stuff. I have purchased rice, apples, oranges, and meat, for example. The price of meat is 50 bucks per kilo. I want to extract these numbers and then, for example, display the sum of the cost that I have spent. So what I do to fix this is using regular expressions. So first of all, you should import the RE module, because everything regular expression related is inside this module. So first of all, import it, and then I'm gonna search for this pattern. This pattern looks like it starts with the string, the price of, and then some other word, and then is, and then a digit, and then it can continue with some other things. So we need to extract these numbers. We need to create the pattern. So I create a variable for pattern, and I say, first of all, start it with the beginning of the string. It starts with the price of, and then we have a space. We know that we have a space, so we can't leave a space here. And then we have a word, so we need to specify a word here. So we can say, actually, in order to specify a word, there are 2 ways. You can either say a Z small and a Z capital, and then a space. I signify space. I show a space with \s. \s means space. So I can have a space here, I have a space here, and I show it that way. And something that I didn't tell you when I was displaying the symbols on the website was grouping, was parentheses that is used for grouping. When you want to extract something from a pattern, you need to use groups. At least one of the ways of doing that is using groups. For example, I want to get anything that is inside this section as a group. I want to obtain this part and process it. I need to put it in a group, but here is not yet the group. We know that we have also is here, \is, \s is, because we have a space here, and then we have is, and then we have another space, okay, and then we have the $sign. So note that $sign has a special meaning in a pattern. It means the end of the string. In order to cancel that meaning for Python and say that no, I want the exact $sign itself, you put it after the backslash like this. This means that I want the $sign itself, and then we have a number. So I specify the number. As I told you, numbers are displayed this way, 0 to 9, but the first digit cannot be 0, so the first one is from 1 to 9, and then the second one is from 0 to 9. And note that we can omit the second digit. We might have spent only $2 or $9, but not necessarily something that has 2 digits. So our number, our price, might have only 1 digit. So here we know that the first digit is obligatory. It's always there, but the second one might be there or might not be there. So here that star symbol that I told you comes to the rescue, and it says 0 or more of this digit. Great. So we can have any number here, and even not only 1 digit, we can have more digits. We can have $500, we have $1,000, $155, something like that. So after that, I don't finish the string with this symbol because my string can continue like per kilo, but I don't have per kilo necessarily. So I don't end this string, and then because I want to extract this digit part, this number part, I need to put it in a group. Later it can help us, and I will show you how. I put the digits part inside parentheses with this. Okay, now we have only one group because we have only used one pair of parentheses. Let me add to the size so that you can see this better, this window. All right, we have the pattern. I hope that you are not bored by the video yet, because it's gonna be more exciting. Just stay tuned. Next is doing the actual operation, and there are several ways of doing that. One way actually is calling re and match. Re match searches for the pattern that we give to it from the beginning of the string, and once it finds it, it takes it back, it returns it, and it doesn't care about if and what continues and is there after that pattern. So there might be something else after that string in the string, after that pattern in the string that you are looking for that pattern. So if you are going to search for a pattern in the beginning of your string, the match function is useful. Try to apply the pattern at the start of the string, returning a match object, or none if no match was found. So it returns a match object for us. So I create a variable, call it match, and then I pass it pattern And after that, I enter the string, and my string is one of these items in the list, so I need to put that in actually a loop. So I say for item in list or for report. We can say for report because any one of these is a report, and we look for that pattern in the report. Okay, and once we have that match, we extract that digit and we put it in another list. We can put it in another list and display it, so that later we can find the sum. We can calculate the sum and average of that. So I create a list before the loop, list of prices. It's empty in the beginning, but later we append the numbers that we find. And we know that match has, because we know we have a match here, match will have groups. The groups method, the groups function, returns any groups that are found inside this found pattern. And since we have only one group, we know that we should look for the first group that is found, and we are only interested in the first group. So I create groups. This is a variable, another variable, and the price is the 0th item from this groups list. So I say price groups 0, and it also needs to be cast to integer because we only want integer, or it can be float actually, but for now let's go for int because float has a dot in the middle, and that dot needs a small change in this pattern. We need to consider that too. So for now, only assume that our prices are integers and they don't have any decimal points. So we have the price and we cast it to integer after extracting it from our string from the report, and let's put it in the list of prices. So we say prices dot append price, and then we print the results. We print f string prices are, we display the prices, curly braces, prices, this will print the prices, and then we can find the average for the prices, and we can say print average price is. I'm gonna do something a little bit risky here. I'm not sure if Python lists have a method called average, but I'm gonna try it. Maybe it has. Prices.average. No, it doesn't have. We need to do the average ourselves. So sum, first it is 0, and then for item and prices, or for price and prices, sum plus equal price for price and prices. We add the price to the sum that we have, and eventually we can display the average with sum divided by prices.length, prices.size, come on, prices dot, oh, if you want to get the length of a list, you can say len, like this. Okay. Let's also imagine one case. In case our pattern has something wrong, and there's something wrong with our pattern, and here we will have a problem. Let's think about that. So match, in case we don't have a match, we will have none. So here we can say if none, if match is none, or if not match, oh sorry, we don't have not, that not operator as we have in some other languages in Python. If match is none, then we can exit and display a warning or error to the user. So we print the pattern is not right, exiting. So there's something wrong with the pattern and we exit one. Okay, and exit as okay. Exit is a method that is known by Python and we don't need to import anything. Now let's run it and see the result. I'm gonna run it. This. Okay, the pattern is not right. As I had predicted, there was something wrong with it. The price of AZ, there's a space, is, and then we have a digit, we have the dollar sign, and then we have a group that is actually our price, and we are extracting it. So when you have some problem like that, you can do a small debugging, and for debugging we'll have a separate session in the future. I will show you how to do debugging in the IDE, but there's a very simple debugging technique that you can use for solving problems like that, and it is using the Python interpreter itself directly. You can open your Python interpreter as I did here, and then you can reproduce some of the steps that you have gone through here. For example, you can create this pattern, you can copy this pattern. Now we have the pattern. You can import the regular expressions module, and then you can search for some of these patterns in the strings that we have. So I also copy this list here, and then I'm gonna search for this pattern in all of these items, or in one of them or two of them. So I say re.match, and then first the pattern, and then one of the items from that list, list 0. Oh, it returned nothing. This is bad. It returns nothing for any of them. So I don't know exactly what is wrong here, but we can actually use another method. There's another method in regular expressions module called search. We can search for that pattern. Oh, search doesn't work too. Search. What about the first item? So actually there's something very bad, something very wrong with our pattern. And the price of rice. Okay, what about adding the spaces here? Okay, we cannot have literal spaces in a string. Match. No, it's not yet fixed. The price of what am I doing? Actually, I'm only changing the pattern in my editor, but not here. So I need to update my pattern. So what about it now? Not yet. Can't find it. The price of rice is no. The price of this part. Oh, you know what? I found the problem. There's a big problem here. And the rice part, this is more than one character, for God's sake. So it should be plus. It's either one character or more. And since these spaces are literal, we can use them as is. We don't need to specify \s. What about now? Come on. Great. Found it. You see that now it found it. And now it's working. The price of rice is $20, which means this part of the string matched our pattern. What about the second item in the list? Yes, the price of meat is 50%, $50. What about the third item? Yes, you can see that a match object is returned, and that match object gives you a span that tells you what range in that string wraps your interested pattern. So which range contains the pattern that you are looking for. Here the range is from 0 to 24, which means 0 to 24th character. Here it's 0 to 27th character, and we can actually count them. For the third one, for example, oranges, we can say 0, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, not 28, 27. Yeah, it's 27. This 27th character. So it's from 0 to 27. The indexes actually is from 0 to 27, and that's what you can see here. Okay. 0 to 27. So that's one way of looking for matches. And if you use the search one, search is also useful in some occasions that you are looking for some pattern in a string. It might not be in the beginning of the string, the pattern that you are looking for. For example, it's in the middle of the sentence and you want to search for this pattern. For example, we know that today's report dot the price of rice is $20, and here you cannot use that pattern anymore. You can use it actually, unless provided that you remove this part, because it's not the beginning of the string anymore, beginning of the pattern string anymore. But you cannot use the match function. You should and you must use the search method, the search function. So in that case, the search function will be more useful. Now let's run our actual code and see the result in action. Invalid syntax, what happened? Regular expressions. Which one? Line 1. What are you talking about? What problem? Invalid syntax, line 1. There's our line 1. Okay, I don't see any problem here. Did this cause any problem? Let's exit this console, run it again. The pattern is not right. Ridiculous. Why? The price of what is? Okay, the first one, the pattern is not right actually, because I destroyed it. I added some string part to it, and I told you that match will not work. Instead, you must use the search function. Now it will work. There we go. Now we have our numbers, our prices in a list of prices: 20, 50, 10, and 10. And we also have calculated the average price, which is $22.5. So I hope that this gives you an idea of how regular expressions work and how they can be useful. You can find a ton of usages and use cases for regular expressions, given different occasions, given different situations in your web development or in handling user input. But in general, you need to have an understanding of how these patterns are created. So here you saw that we first created a pattern. There are some symbols that you need to know, and as you saw here on the website, I didn't explain everything and every symbol, and actually you don't need to be aware of any symbol that is out there and any technique that is out there. You can only use what meets your needs for your application. But in general, the more you know about regular expressions, the more comfortable life you will have. So that's it for regular expressions. So again, it's from the RE module, from the Python's standard library. I hope that you liked it. Before I wrap up today's ZomCast, let's talk a little bit about the events that we had. So enough Pythoning, return back to my image. Okay, we have some new events that we had over the last week, and they were exciting, and hopefully they were exciting for you. And they include, let me open my notes for today's ZomCast. Okay, Kubernetes Podcast 136 was released, and you can find it on kubernetespodcast.com with Lee Mills and Matt Clark. And you guys, you need to know that it's a very nice podcast for all cloud developers and cloud guys and cloud enthusiasts. It's a very nice podcast from Google. And the next one is Telegram's Android Contest 2021 now open, and it will finish. You need to be aware that the deadline is the 14th of February 2021, so you don't have much time. Today is February 5. you have only 9 days left in order to submit your codes for the Android contest. And a little bit explanation, if I want to give you some explanation about this contest, actually you need to go to Android's GitHub page, because it's the Telegram's Android version is on GitHub, and you can find it on GitHub. Then you need to download it. It has a huge amount of code. You need to clone it, and then you need to build it, and it will take a ton of time to build. And then you need to do your fixes and improve different parts. Especially they are looking for improvements in the native parts and in performance and in animations. Anything that you can create a significant change toward improvement and making it better. You can then submit your patches. You can submit your APK, the resulting APK, after you made the changes, aligned with a link to your forked version on GitHub, to the contest bot, the official contests bot from Telegram, and then they will consider that and they will get back to you soon. Okay, the next piece of news: Ripple response to SEC lawsuit. And seems like Ripple was kind of strong in responding to the allegations from SEC, and you can see the result of that in the price of XRP, because over the last week we saw significant increase in the price of XRP, and that was probably due to strong stand from Ripple against the SEC lawsuit. And seems like Ripple is close to proving SEC wrong in its claim that SEC claimed that Ripple had actually sold XRP in a wrong way, and it claimed that XRP is a security, but Ripple always denies it and says that XRP is not a security, and it doesn't need all the conditions that are required for securities. It's only a currency. It's a digital cryptocurrency, and it doesn't accept, and Ripple doesn't accept any of the allegations. And I think that it will win this lawsuit. And Mozilla mixed reality hub updated. So Mozilla mixed reality, it's a web reality version. If you are interested in augmented reality and virtual reality, it's a very nice technology that Mozilla is working on, and you can find it on Mozilla's website. Actually, it has a special web page. I think it's Mozilla Web R or something like that. You can find it on Google, and you can check it out for yourself. It's a very nice technology that works on web. It's 3D and it's virtual reality, And GitHub in Focus 2021 will start on February 23. And that was for the list of news that we had over the last week. I hope that you enjoyed this week's podcast, ZomCast 24. And please take care and keep coding and enjoy life. If you like the podcast, please leave a comment, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and take care. See you in the next week. subscribe button, the like button, and take care. See you in the next week.